Appreciate everybody being here. If you allow me the liberty, we're going to start with Senate Bill 2302, Senator Thompson. He has a meeting at 3:15 or so, and we're going to try to let him go through it first. Senator Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, Senate Bill 2302 involves two parcels in downtown Gulfport that MDOT had purchased somewhere around 2004, 2005 as part of the Port Connector Road project. That project was originally scheduled to be along 28th Avenue, where these parcels are located, but then was moved further west to 30th. The city of Gulfport has used and maintained these properties for at least the past 10 years or so. They've put in an irrigation system, they've planted some grass and cut some grass. They've installed some sort of electrical infrastructure that allows hookups for vendors when they come downtown or cruising the coast and other events. What 2302 would do would be to authorize MDOT to sell that property to the city of Gulfport. So that the city can continue to use and maintain it. I've got photographs of the parcels if anyone's interested. They're literally just vacant pieces of land. I've spoken with MDOT, with Director White. He does not have any opposition to this. I've also spoken with the Southern Transportation Commissioner, who does not have any opposition to this. That's a brief explanation of the bill. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions to the committee? If not, I'd entertain a motion. Title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say aye. Bill's carried and will be reported out.
Thank you,
Mr.
Chair.
Thompson. Thank you for being here. With that, we're going to go back up to the top of the calendar. Senate Bill 2291. This is Senator Blunt's bill, and I'll yield to Senator Blunt to explain, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the same bill that this committee passed last year and first passed 14 years ago. It deals with state office leasing of privately owned buildings in the Metro Jackson area. The state spends right now a little more than $14 million a year in rent in the Metro Jackson area. This bill it's a big fat bill, but the meat of the bill is really just in the first section. The bill transfers the responsibility for signing leases for state agencies from each of the individual agencies, and all those code sections are brought forward. That's why the bill is so long, to the Department of Finance and Administration to negotiate the best possible lease and to look at everything in totality as far as leasing space. Again, they're leasing more than 100,000 square feet a year at more than $14 million a year in rent. And we believe there's opportunities for savings in rent, and particularly opportunities for consolidation of some of these smaller agencies that are renting privately owned property. That's an explanation of the bill, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to yield for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any questions of the committee? I think there may be a proper time. When you talked about increased efficiencies, it would allow agencies that are maybe in the same space to leverage like the common spaces like we sit in and our IT services and different things, and share that expense instead of having it on their own. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, that's exactly right. My bill deals strictly with space to do exactly what you've described. And I think Senator Johnson has a bill to even look for greater efficiencies by doing that, which I think is a good amendment.
And I'll recognize Senator Johnson to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I really like the direction Senator Blunt's going with this bill, and had a similar bill and would like to add just a small amendment to it wherever a council believes it'll best fit. That amendment I'm taking from the draft of the bill that I also had. Occupational licensure boards within the state of Mississippi must collaborate to identify and execute location and staff sharing strategies. Boards operating within the same location shall implement strategies to downsize and share administrative and support staff whenever possible. So the intent would be that we have almost pods of where occupational licensure boards do exist, where we can be more efficient with backroom task reception in any way that we can with personnel. And so that would be my amendment.
Thank you, Senator. Any questions on the amendment? What are we doing? We need to adopt the amendment. I need a motion to adopt the amendment.
Move adoption of the amendment.
The motion on the floor is to adopt the amendment. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Amendment is adopted. We're now back on the bill. We need a motion
Motion's still sufficient, do pass committee sep.
as amended.
As amended.
As amended. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Nay. Thank you. That will be carried and that will be reported to the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both for your work on this. This is good as we look at trying to increase the efficiency of government. You know, there's a qualitative speak there that the more agencies and boards that are here in this area within walking distance, so to speak, where we can touch and feel, I think there's a level of efficiency that we can realize there instead of jumping in the car going 30 minutes away. So I think we can yell. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that means be quiet, go to the next bill. Gotcha. Where's my agenda? Next bill is Senate Bill 2297, concurrent jurisdiction provide for between federal and state governments in certain lands. This comes at the request of the governor's office. There is a concern that federal lands, we're going to be putting MCU, Mississippi Cyber Unit at Keesler Air Force Base in South Mississippi. And if I understand right, got counsel over here, if I'm misspeaking, is there could be a situation where there might be a crime committed on that property and we would not be sure where the jurisdiction to prosecute, whether it was federal or state. I think this provides clarity into that, where federal and state we'll discuss this and understand how that should proceed. Am I correct on that, sir? And then just that's what this bill does. Are there any questions on this bill? Need a motion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? The bill will be carried out. Thank you very much. We have done 2302. The next bill is Senate Bill 2300, and this is a design build bill. We had one similar to this the other day as we go forward, looking at ways for our government to be more efficient as we build properties and work on properties. This bill opens code sections up that allows us to do that. It's probably something that we will be working on as we go through the process. I don't know that it's at a complete state. That being said, I have spoken to several people in the space have already contacted me about it, want to have input on it. So I look forward to collaborating with many people as we go forward. In short, right now, simply put, a lot of times there's a bid process that's done and lowest and best is the criteria we use. And usually that's the dollar amount that a job is. And if we've got a facility that's $15 million and they're the lowest, they will be typically granted that. Couple of things we want to try to open the door to do is making sure that the people bidding it are qualified to do it. A little bit of a pre-qualification point, understanding if someone's really good in a $1 to $2 million space and they jump out there to the $15 or $20 million space, maybe a little more vetting to say, are they good enough to do this? By all means, we encourage companies to scale and grow. I mean, the big ones didn't, most of them didn't start that way. So we want that to happen. But we have had situations in my tenure where we've had a company come in and in my opinion, it was known that it may have been beyond the scope of what they could do with the way the code is now. They were awarded the job. They were forced, a bond was forced to be called. It probably cost them a lot of money. It cost the state money and it delayed the project. So hopefully by working on this legislation, we move to where that is less frequent of an event. And a design build, another thing that's going to be gained there is we're going to sit there with the contractor and designer can be one and the same. A lot of times you've got a greater synergy there if all these people are in-house. So it allows us that opportunity where typically it hadn't. You may have an architecture firm that's doing the design and engineering fund doing that function, then a construction firm doing other. It allows us to have more of a collaboration there. I think as we go forward in the statute, as I understand the way it's written now, that's a difficult thing to try to achieve. So in short, that's what this does. And as I said, this is something we'll be working through the process. Any questions? I yield for a motion. Very good. Thank you very much. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. I think with that, we've got one bill on the calendar. We may have another meeting before it's over with, but with that, we're going to, I need a motion to rise and report. Thank you all. No, it kind of came together.